have you guys heard about that single site for old people, seniorpeoplemeet.com? I'm like, no, that's MEET. Don't go to the other one.
You're listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us on Earth Oddity Podcast for a special bonus episode. There's going to be a normal episode like there is every week, but right now we're going to take a few minutes to talk to an old buddy of mine, clean comic, whole shebang, Rich Jones. Rich Jones, how you doing this morning?
I am good.
Is it easier to bomb in like a secular club as opposed to church? Because I feel like, you know, like Christian love would help you
like
get
they would,
courtesy
like they feel
laugh.
like they have to laugh.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you, the easiest place to bomb is a nursing home.
That's got to be a tough gig.
Oh, man.
And actually, I had this really awesome show the night before at this church. And then I went to this nursing home. It was actually an Alzheimer's community, so I got to tell the same joke over and over again. Actually,
right, man, this place is rough. People are dying to get out of here.
One of the guys, actually, they have this thing that'll tell you if wheelchairs are moving, so like if they're like trying to escape or something like that. And the whole show, all these wheelchairs kept moving.
You know what? We need that in
like
our youth room here at church.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man. That's a tough. How do you get booked at a nursing home?
It was I lost a bet, I think. But
hey, you're doing better than us because I'm sitting here thinking now, hey John, maybe we should do a nursing home.
Well, the guy actually, I did so bad the first couple of times. This guy, he just asked me if I'd do it. Like he found me on the bulletin board at the Family Christian Bookstore, like my card, and he never would leave me alone. So I finally just did it.
Right.
But anyway, I didn't get paid for it. It was just kind of the heck of it. But anyway, there was actually a guy that we went to school with. I won't say his name, but he got real mad at me because I always try to post little one-liners on Facebook, and I go, I got my first show at an Alzheimer's community. Then I go, I got my first show at an Alzheimer's community. This dude got so mad, and I was like, dude, my grandma had it. Like, I suffered, like, with her, like, trying to take care of her and everything. Like, if you can't laugh at life, what's the point?
Exactly.
And if you did offend somebody, I mean, they're just going to forget about it. So, you know.
Yeah, really. But they'll find something else to get offended about.
Yeah.
It's like Jaws. All the shark does is eat and sleep and make little babies, or whatever that. Or no, eat and swim and make little sharks, and that's all.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Like I quote it in my act a lot. Like I'll be like, yeah, they brought me a little bowl of soup at a Charlie's the other day. I looked at the server and I was like, you're gonna need a bigger bowl. And then I got one where I'm like, yeah, did you guys see that the shark from Jaws is rated by the American Film Institute as the number 18th movie villain? I'm like, what did he really do, though? It's not like he built a death ray or tried to blow up the world. He just had lunch.
Yeah,
That's true.
He's just being a shark. Yeah.
Doing shark things.
Then I got one where I like make. Of course, Richard Jeni has a really awesome bit. He actually is one of those comedians that killed himself, but he was real funny. He was in. You probably had seen him in The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. Yeah.
He was like his buddy in The Mask.
Okay, I remember that.
Officers, arrest that guy. And he's like, that's my line, or whatever the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy said that, but Richard Jeni was like his buddy at the bank.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I
anyway,
remember that.
He had this really funny bit where he just dissects Jaws the Revenge as being just so beyond stupid that like you have to be watching it late at night to even like want to watch it. Whatever, but I do a joke about it because I saw on DirecTV it had the movie description, and it said a huge white shark harasses a New England widow and her marine biologist son. I'm like, how does a shark harass somebody? Like, is Jaws underwater on the sea foam? Is your refrigerator running? But anyway, so I do a lot of Jaws humor.
Gotcha.
Like, what do you call a redneck shark? You could probably guess this one, Tiny.
What do you call a redneck shark?
Y'alls.
Yeah.
Y'alls. That's pretty good.
I was thinking somehow to tie mullet into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
dirt.
Let me ask you this, because me and John have talked about this, and I don't want to play down any comics out there who truly are, but I feel like there's a lot of stand up today that is just very dependent on shock value. Like they try to be as filthy as possible.
Peeves, actually.
Yeah, I actually think that clean comedy is more difficult than normal stand up today. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've seen a lot of like dirty comedians try to work clean, and they look like fish out of water.
Right.
But I've never worked dirty, so it's not hard for me.
Right.
I mean, if you've already done it one way, you got to unlearn that way and try to do it a different way. But and I think a lot of them will try to do their dirty comedy without the dirty punchline, and it you can tell it's not funny. I mean, I don't even think some of it's funny with the dirtiness or whatever. I mean, it's so.
Because it's almost like a crutch in a way, where they're just kind of relying on shock value. They're just being outrageous, and that's what makes people laugh.
Well, the whole idea with shock comedy, too, is you're saying something so offensive that your joke depends on somebody taking it offensively and then the person next to them laughing at them being offended.
Right, yeah. Right.
So I don't like that because I like to make everybody laugh. I don't want to make one person be offended and then the rest of them laugh at that person.
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't want to alienate any of your audience. And aside from that, it's just not a nice thing to do, Well, I think in my opinion, I think the three main shock comics today are Tosh, most definitely. Mm-hmm.
I haven't really seen much of him though. I don't even know if that show's still on.
No,
I haven't heard anything about it in forever. Tosh Point-0. I remember he just took YouTube videos and made fun of them, didn't he?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah, it was almost like Talk Soup for YouTube, basically. I think.
Yeah.
But now the one thing I did like about Tosh is, I don't know if you remember this, John. Our football team down here in Tuscaloosa, we had a offensive coordinator, Lane Kiffin. Who is a little controversial to say the least. And he even though he was offensive coordinator for our team, he wasn't very well liked. He wasn't very popular,
right?
Because of his history, and it always cracked me up because I remember it's almost like he had a beef. He had a personal beef with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. He had a great impression of him.
He did.
Oh, that's funny.
Or Joey Sweetwater.
If you can relate somebody to something, it makes it funnier. I have a friend. We were talking about the Big Lebowski before the show.
Right.
I have a friend who's exactly like Walter.
Oh, okay.
And so if I watch that movie, it's 100 times funnier to me because I picture him in that role.
That's funny.
And then I think Sarah Silverman, she relies on, even what's her face, the plus size chick that Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer.
She got mad because they said she was a plus size chick, which she is. I mean, you're happy with who you are, then who cares? Whatever. But she took offense to being called a plus size girl, whatever.
You're just saying she shops at Cakeek and not Victoria's Secret.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they think that I think with her and even with Sarah Silverman when she was younger, they thought, oh well, I'm cute, I can say whatever I want, I can be racist, and people won't matter because I'm cute.
And if people get mad, you call them sexist.
Yeah, really. But and then I think Dane Cook can be that way. There's a lot of comedians that hate Dane Cook because he stole from Demetri Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Just Mencia, he's the worst, but I haven't really even heard anything from him in a long time. So
I think Joe Rogan pretty much destroyed his career, and they had a beef because he was stealing jokes and Joe Rogan. It's almost like he made it his mission to go after the guy.
Yeah, I think there was a personal issue between the two also for him to be that, mad at him.
Right.
But I don't know. I've never met either one of those guys.
Right.
So.
Well, let me ask you about, some clean... who are your favorite clean comics? Because, I mean... Now, maybe I'm just not aware, but the pool is pretty shallow, isn't it? Are there many clean comics operating? Yeah,
Brian Regan,
I do like Brian Regan.
We discussed Brian Regan the other day.
Yeah, we did.
Idea.
He's hilarious. And I don't think it's because of his faith. I think he's like that because he wants his kids to respect his job.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I heard somebody say that he actually got turned off to Christianity at one point because somebody treated him real bad or something. I don't know the whole story, but that's what I heard a long time ago. And then,
but he's just got a clean show because he's got kids and he wants his kids to be able to admire his work.
I mean, the worst thing you'll hear him say is hell. Like, what the hell is that? Whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But, and then, of course, I like Tim Hawkins. He's like probably the best Christian comedian there is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's actually let me open for him a few times.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I joked that I closed for, or no, he closed for me. But he's a good guy. I actually got mentioned on his podcast one time because I was at that wrestling convention I was telling you about, and like Nikita Koloff was like a big fan of Tim Hawkins, and I called him and I was just like, "Hey, Nikita's a big fan of yours," whatever, and like I was gonna see if he'd answer the phone, whatever, but he didn't answer. So, but then he mentioned me on the podcast on Monday, like, "Yeah, Rich Jones says Nikita's a big fan," and they start making because Nikita's actually from Minnesota and he's not really Russian. I don't know if you guys knew that. Wrestling's fake.
Yes, right. Yes, I did. Whoa. Wrestling? What? It's fake?
But yeah, it was fun. I like him. There's a few. I mean, Mitch Hedberg's my all-time favorite. He wasn't clean, but just the style I love.
Right. So I saw on Facebook you went to the Philippines here recently. Tell us about that.
Well, I figured I'm 39 and still single, and there's a lot of women over there that want to come to America.
Brilliant.
No, I met this girl online a while back, and like, went over there and got engaged. So
cool. All right.
It's amazing too because they haven't been westernized yet.
Right.
So it's like going to 1950s America over there. Like, I mean, you can give them a little teddy bear, Tiny, and they'll like just. And I don't mean to exclude your co-host.
It's cool. That's cool. You guys got a prior relationship. Y'all catch up. It's fine.
Okay.
Relive some college memories. It's cool.
Yeah, I remember. Or no, well, they like you can give them a little teddy bear and they'll think the world of it, whatever. Whereas over here, like, what's that?
Right.
Like, what? Why didn't you get me a Bath and Body Works gift card instead?
How much is a round trip plane ticket to the Philippines?
It's like $1,000.
I'll pass that on to my brother.
Just for you, Brad.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but divorce is non-existent. I mean, it's illegal to get a divorce over there. They can get like annulments if they're Catholic.
Yeah.
But they don't have divorce over there, so that was kind of another reason because they're just committed to family that I wanted to look there. Because when you're 39 and still saying, I know you're already married. I don't know about your co-host.
Yeah, he's been married longer than I have been. You've known your wife for what, like 60 years or something
I've
like that?
known my wife essentially my whole life.
Since second grade or something like that.
Earlier than that, I knocked her tooth out in second grade.
Did she say, when you getting on the bus and they're like, can't sit here? And she's like, you can sit here if you want.
Actually, Forrest Gump is an autobiography. It's based off of me, if you didn't know.
John's even from Greenbow, Alabama.
So I just figured.
That's right.
But, I mean, when you're 39 and still single, I would just go, I'm 39 and still single, but I'm a comedian. What's your excuse? But
did you get off the plane and you're like, all right, which one of you ladies wants to come back to America?
Well, I told her, I'm like, there's like this dessert over there called, it looks like on paper it looks like Halo because that's how it's spelled, but over there they call it halo.
Okay.
And like I told her because I wanted to try this stuff because it just sounded interesting.
Yeah.
It's like an ice cream mixed with a bunch of other weird stuff like Jello and like. But they put corn in it, and that's the only thing I didn't like about it.
Corn? They put corn in ice cream?
Corn and ice cream? I mean, that might be a Southern thing, but it's not a Rich Jones thing.
It's not a Southern thing. Now I can get on board with corn in the gordita or in the burrito. I'm all over that.
I can take that, yeah.
But not in my ice cream. I mean, I guess I'll try anything.
That's sacrilegious if you ask me.
It wasn't bad. It was just I didn't like I would rather just have the ice cream. But
still better than pineapple on pizza, though.
Yeah. Well... And even the McDonald's is over there don't take credit card, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I guess we're just used to it here.
Right.
I told her she had to hold up a Halo sign, and she's like, I'm not doing that. Everyone will think I'm weird. I'm like, okay, then I don't know. Whatever. I'll just find me. Whatever, and like she found me with her cousin, so it was kind of cool.
Okay,
cool.
I
mean, she was with her cousin. She didn't find me with her cousin.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
Hit it off real well.
They do love family over there.
But yeah, I was there for 2 weeks. It was really cool, and like I wanted to visit Corregidor, which is where MacArthur kind of held his ground during the World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was only after Truman ordered him to leave and like retreat that he left, but he didn't want to leave the Philippines behind because he wanted to just, like a veteran soldier just wanted to defend his post.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like an island. It's in like Manila Bay. And I really wanted to visit there, but all the boats that were going out there were all booked up, and I couldn't get there the days I wanted to go. So,
right. Well,
but I mean, I love the historical side of all that.
Hey, now you're going to have family in the Philippines, though, so I'm sure you'll get to go back and try again.
Right.
Yeah, I was joking with her last night because I mean, it was only $20 for because our dollar goes so much further there. I bought them a $20 stove. There,
right.
And I mean, there's gas, and they're just like so excited about it. And I said that was part of your dowry. Whatever. and she's like, that's an old tradition. My dad had to do that for my mom, and I was like, really? I was just joking.
But I mean, hey, if it works, here you go.
Yeah,
here's $40.
It cost me $20 to get married. But she told me that they actually used to do, or that's an older tradition. But she said that a lot of families don't do that anymore because, like, it was like trading their kids for like goods and services or something like that.
That's why I had 3 kids.
You're hoping to hit it big later on down the road.
Yeah. Well, I only got one daughter.
I was about to say, you've only got one daughter, though, so.
Yeah. I have to make that one count.
Hey, by the way, do you remember that guy at Boyce where we went to college that he was from like Nigeria? And I guess, I don't know if you were there around this time or not. It was kind of late like the last year.
You're not talking about Charles Juma, are you?
No, not him.
Okay.
This guy's name was Chinaka.
I don't think I met him.
Well, he was obsessed with movies, but he would like take a bath in like Old Spice.
Oh, man.
It was nasty. Anyway, there was some girl at one of
But it did ironically make him the most attractive man on campus somehow.
Well, he met, there was some girl he liked at one of the churches that like a lot of people would go to. I think it was Valley View. I don't remember, but anyway, he liked her, so he offered her like her family all this livestock, like whatever, from Africa, because I guess that's how they get married over there. And somebody contacted like Dr. Moeller about it.
Oh, like, dang.
Trying to like explain to him like, no, this isn't the way we do things here.
Right.
And this girl isn't really interested in you. You can keep your livestock.
You can take her to a petting zoo, but you don't have to. You don't have to give her a farm.
This guy was in. I guess he was in. I think they call it Nollywood, whatever like Hollywood is in Nigeria.
Okay.
He was in. He was in like some movie called, and I remember the name of the movie because it was so distinct. Stubborn Grasshopper.
Wow. Stubborn Grasshopper hopping cricket.
Yeah. So if you can get a bootleg copy of that, this dude was in it. But anyway, he told me he was banned from coming back to Nigeria because I guess it made fun of their current leader at that time.
Right. So he's got to wait.
And I was like, well, how are you gonna get? What are you gonna do? Stay here? And he's like, no, it'll sizzle down in a few years. I'm like, I hope so. But he's still here, so maybe it hasn't.
We take so much for granted over here in America, man.
Well, and he even told me if I ever wanted to be a movie star in Nigeria, he had connections. And I was like, cool.
Awesome.
I got that going for me. So I got that going for me.
We should go down there and basically just shot for shot remake Tommy Boy for the Nigerians.
Yeah. Be Kind, Rewind.
Yeah.
That movie. It was funny because he wrote me not too long ago on Facebook. I added him not too long ago. And he was like, hey, we should make a movie. And I was like, you got any ideas? No. I'm like, okay, well, you want one of my ideas?
Get back to me when you have an idea.
I'm like, I don't want to give you my idea. Like, I mean, unless it's like in stone, I don't want to like make. So I have ideas for some stuff, but I haven't done it. So.
Gotcha.
But I don't want to give them away.
Because, I mean, you got to watch them Nigerians, man, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Something tells me copyright law isn't as strong over there.
Well, I mean,
there's princes over there trying to give you.
It must be hard to be an attorney over there that specializes in inheritance law.
That's right.
Hey, that's a good question. Does he know that one prince that's always trying to give out $1 million?
I don't know, but I always thought it'd be funny to make a movie of that and like have somebody like give their money and then they get mad and they try to go over and get it back, or have it be like a real person. Whatever that like really is a prince that needs help.
Nobody will listen to him.
Nobody believes him. That would be hilarious.
So I hope nobody listens to your podcast that steals that idea.
We're copywriting it right now. I don't know if that's how it works, but let's just copyright. Let's just say copyright.
Do you just say copyright?
I think so. It's like declaring bankruptcy.
All right,
like you just declare it.
Like on The Office.
Like on The
Office. Yeah. I think they made fun of that scenario. Like Michael Scott had gotten that email or something like that. He was thinking about doing it.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I remember Pam, when they were roasting Michael Scott, she stood up and said that she wanted to talk about email fraud, and she said it affects one person every hour. That person is Michael Scott. Oh man.
My favorite part of that was when like Dwight actually like saved Jim from that like Pam's ex-boyfriend.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, that was a funny show.
And he's like, every year I've always brought this pepper spray to work, and everybody's made fun of me, but this time it worked. And he's trying to get the pepper spray out of
it blew back on him. Yeah. You know, I saw on Facebook somebody posted that they pay, what is it, $12 a month or whatever for Netflix for all these shows. But 3 months later, I'm paying $12 for a subscription to The Office.
That's right.
Yeah, I had Netflix for a while, but I have so many movies now. Like, it's like, why am I paying for $12 when I own all these movies?
How many movies you got?
Oh man, like 4,000 at least.
Are you serious? Wow. Do you have them on like DVD. A hard drive or DVD?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they got so cheap.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have them? Where do you keep them? Do you have like a room that's just?
There's like a whole room they're just piled up in.
Does it look like an old Blockbuster? Because you should do that.
You should maybe think about opening up your own rental service.
Dude, when we were back in college, I hated it. Because back then I had VHS. But
right.
Everybody would always come and want to borrow movies, and I didn't mind if they were my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But like. I'd never see them any other time. They'd want to borrow a movie. I'm like, dude, I'm not the Lone Ranger, and they'd be like, huh? and then
and you're like, that's Robot Shark. There's only 500 copies in existence.
Yeah, well, they want all my WrestleManias too, and I'm like, dude, that's like WWF back in the day. But back then, I mean, you had to pay like $40 just for a VHS of them, but because they would only sell to like Blockbuster and all them, and like if you wanted it for yourself, you had to pay like more. But like. There were some guys, and I won't say their names because I'm Facebook friends with them, but there were some guys that would like loan my stuff out to other people after they borrowed it, and I'd have to go to like 5 different people to get it back.
That sounds like something Daniel Cable would have done. I'm supposed to be one, was he?
It was mostly Travis.
Oh, Travis. I remember him, yeah. What's he doing now?
He's like a pastor somewhere in like Columbus.
Oh, wow.
Ohio.
Man.
But,
have you ever thought about like getting in touch with the deacons at his church and like telling on him?
Dude, that guy got in trouble for so much. Oh, you can edit this out if you want. But that guy got in trouble for so much. I mean, he flashed a chick.
I remember that was the big thing that I'm aware of.
The rare male flashing.
Exactly.
We got in trouble with Dr. Cable because we went to Gaddy's and like took like Tupperware and like took all this. It was like a pizza buffet.
Yeah,
we took all this extra pizza home.
I love Gaddy's, yeah.
We got in trouble. Actually, your buddy Jesse Fought narked us out.
I remember Jesse Fought, yeah.
He was like So I mean, like he was like best friends with Travis like a long time ago. Like he knocked us out, and I was like, like I actually finally confronted him on it. I was like, dude, if you're gonna do that, say something to me first. And he's like, well, if you'd have been doing drugs, I would have gone straight to the dean. I'm like, I wasn't doing drugs.
I don't know, like, pizza. You can get addicted to pizza. Maybe he was onto something.
That's true. Maybe Gus Fring was running that place.
Well, but glad I didn't have friends like that when I was doing drugs.
He did some others. He did some other stuff too. Like I think he put some girl was cheating on her fiance or something like that. And Travis put a note on his car telling him.
Wow.
And then he came to the dorms in the middle of the night, like beating on his door, like. And I remember he called like Casey and like bring Craig down here. Craig was Casey's like boxing brother.
Yeah.
That used to like box and like was in good shape. And like he was all worried this guy was going to beat him up.
I boxed that dude for 30 seconds and he tore me up. This is the dude that was in prison, right?
I don't know if he wasn't. Are you talking about the custodian?
No, not him. That was Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby used to box too.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. On
his arm.
It was one of the guy. It was one of the guy's brothers.
I think it was. I don't know if he was in jail, but Craig was like Casey's brother, so it probably was him.
Yeah, I remember. It's like he. I don't know what he was in for. I have no idea. But it's like he gets out of jail and then he goes to Bible college, and this dude I guess he took up boxing while he was in, and you didn't want to mess with him. Yeah, you didn't want to mess with him.
It probably was him. He was a good guy, but
yeah, he was a really good guy. But man, he had a past, you know.
I think he kind of went back to a little bit of stuff, but
oh really?
He's I know he went through a divorce, whatever, and like he unfriended me, so I haven't talked to him in a long time. But I'm still friends with his brother. So
bummer.
I don't know what's going on with him, but yeah, I never tried to box anybody.
It's probably smart. It didn't go well for me. Wait a minute, I didn't have like a black eye or anything. I was just, you know.
I remember they were doing that wrestling league, and like Singleton. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I think so.
That Matt Singleton, like he was like a state wrestling champion or whatever, and like everybody wanted to like John Ward wanted to wrestle him, like big guy, and like he couldn't beat him, and Singleton finally let him beat him because he was crying. But Singleton like he's got like this podcast called Bible Smack.
Bible Smack.
He can't even spell it right either. Like when he like puts like his descriptions and stuff up, and he was like saying how like C.S. Lewis and Michael W. Smith are heretics, and I'm like, what? I'm like, how is that? And he's like, well, and then he tells me, and I'm like, dude, you're totally going on like assumptions or whatever. Like back up your facts,
right?
Whatever. And then, he's just goofy. I remember we went out to eat one time, and I used to work at Olive Garden, so I always tip like really good.
Right.
And like this dude refused to tip, and I didn't have any money on me. Like, that's why
that's borderline heresy here in America.
Is it like that scene from Reservoir Dogs? You know?
Yeah, basically. He was Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
But dude wouldn't tip, and I was like, I got so mad. I started telling everybody back at the dorm, I'm like, don't go out to eat with him. He won't tip, and he got mad at me, and I was like, dude, you should have tipped.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta tip. Everyone should work in a restaurant.
Yeah.
At some point in their life.
My mom used to get mad at me because I would over tip, and I'd be like, Mom, I used to work in a restaurant. I know what these guys make.
Yeah, my wife could get a little mad at me about that too. But I just hide the receipt from her like a real man.
Like a real man.
That's right.
Oh, and whenever you're flying, Tiny.
Yeah.
And don't say anything about like I don't know. Like the worst part about flying for me is going through airport security. Like I can stand everything else, but I feel like Mr. Rogers when I'm going through that checkout thing, taking my shoes off and all that.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Like they're groping me, but they were like they put this substance on me one time, like on my hands. And they're like, this will tell us if you've handled explosives lately. And then they're like, have you handled explosives lately? I'm like, what, the stuff's not telling you? Like, you just put this gooey stuff on my hands so I confess. Like, whatever. And I'm like, I didn't say it because I know they'd put me in a little room, but I always felt like saying no, but I have bombed a few comedy shows lately. And I was telling one of the boarding pass ladies about that. She's like, don't ever say that here.
Yeah, well, the TSA, they're not exactly known
they're not big on jokes.
They're not big on humor.
Like, I tell you, when
they were really bad for a while. Like, they were groping little kids.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, but they wouldn't. But the people that were wearing burqas, they wouldn't touch them. Like, whatever.
And they could have an AK-47 up under that thing. There could be anything in there.
You never know.
That's true.
Seinfeld's got this funny bit where he talks about like how
maybe next time I fly, I should just wear a burqa. you know, I can take everything on the plane.
Yeah,
I can take my big screen TV.
Yeah, Seinfeld's got this funny bit where he talks about like how they're like this genius has chosen to stand in front of X-rays 15 hours a day as his profession. He's like, I always look there. He's like, I can't even tell what it is, and it's my own bag. He's like, this guy's on. What is that? A hairdryer with a scope on it? That looks okay. He's like, some sort of bowling ball candle. That's fine. I just don't want to hold up the line. and then he also says the way you want your airport security is you want the short, heavy-set lady with the skin-tight pant or uniform up front. He's like, that's your first line of defense. He's like, and you want those pants sprayed on. He's like, you want them so tight that the flap has pulled itself open. You can see the metal tangs hanging on for dear life. But yeah, that's the worst part about traveling for me though, is going through airport security. It's so annoying.
Right.
Like the other day, there wasn't even a line, and I tried to like go around or whatever, like through the handicap one, or whatever, because it's a straight shot. And the guy's like, "You got to go all the way around." I'm like, "Where's there a piece of cheese at the end of this maze?" Like, it's just silly. I mean, like, there's nobody there, and I got to walk zigzag all the way through.
Yeah, can't I duck under? You know, I have that same question.
I don't think he was going to let me duck under. That kid was like not in a good mood.
Oh, they take their job seriously.
Yeah.
It's like I think I told, maybe on the podcast before, that we were going through Midway in Chicago.
Oh, it was your son, Hudson.
Yeah, well, Hudson had to go get scanned because he's got a pacemaker. And I was going through with the bags with all the normal slups. And they pull out a bottle of water out of my wife's backpack. And the guy's like, well, you can't take this on the plane. Do you want to drink it? And I said, no. And he like turns around and throws it in a trash can right beside him. And I'm like, if that's explosives, is that the smartest move to do? You know, like, we're all right here, and you're just throwing it in a trash can.
Shouldn't you set that down gently?
Yeah, he didn't think it was very funny at all. You know? Like, we need to have some sort of bomb box to put this stuff in. Y'all are just throwing it in a Rubbermaid trash can. No, actually, it was metal. So, yeah.
You know what? If I worked for the TSA, even though it might be kind of dangerous, I think I would want the job of going through the bomb box at the end of the day and see what
all free stuff.
See what all went in there.
They were making a fortune off selling scrap metal for a while when they would make you take like certain things off your keychain or whatever. They were selling that stuff and making like an extra couple million a month.
Wow.
Off like scrap metal.
That's smart.
Yeah. That's a meth head paradise right there.
Yeah.
I remember Larry the Cable Guy. He did an episode of his show, Only in America. Remember that show?
Yeah, that's
right.
They
went to the TSA, and he like showed them these bins of like all this stuff that they had confiscated, and it was all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Well, you can go to unclaimed baggage in Scottsboro and get all the other stuff that wasn't confiscated. You know, people lose their bags or whatever. It all goes to Scottsboro, Alabama.
Seriously?
Yes.
Dude, we got to go check that out.
Oh, there's all kinds.
You should look through the dumpster and see what doesn't even make it through them.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I'll dumpster
see
dive.
what the worst of the worst is.
I'll dumpster dive. I'm white trash enough to do that and not
every
even
now
feel
and then
any shame.
I'll go through a half price books dumpster and they got like all these like books they're throwing out. And I'm just like, man, like. This is like a golden book, and you're throwing it away. This is like the monster at the end of the book with Grover.
I loved that book when I was a kid, but I was always disappointed that the monster was Grover.
I still have it. Spoiler alert: Grover's the monster.
Oh
man. Well, man,
he's the monster at the end of his own book.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us today. If I'm not mistaken, you've got an upcoming show, don't you?
Yeah, next week, actually. Well, maybe it'll be this week. I don't know.
This show, well, it'll probably come out Monday. So Wednesday, if you're listening to this.
It's Wednesday, June 21st at Zany's Comedy Club in Nashville. And I've done a couple of little shots in Nashville, but I've never been at Zany's.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be my first club. I did the Punchline in Atlanta one time. That was really cool.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That's it. And they closed that place down. My comedian friend that I'm actually doing the show with this Sunday, Derek Tennant, he was recently on Huckabee.
Oh, okay.
Not too long ago. He's actually paralyzed on one side, and he does a lot of stuff. It's called the love chromosome. But he has a sister with Down syndrome, and they do a lot of stuff for like these pro-life groups and everything.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, he's going to be the one running the show. But speaking of Larry, Reno Collier is going to be the headliner, and he does a lot of opening for Larry the Cable Guy.
Okay, okay,
cool.
And I've never met him, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be a great show. And I also have an album coming out soon called I always joke how Christians never gossip because we just have detailed prayer requests.
That's right, very detailed.
And my album will be called A Few Detailed Prayer Requests. So I did it last year, but it's been in post production for a while. So
yeah, post takes forever. If you want it to be good, it's going to take a while.
Especially if you're doing it on your own and you don't have like a record label or production company like it's really doing most of it, but. I filmed it actually on my birthday last year.
Okay.
And I said, all I want for my birthday is for you to come to my show.
Okay. And,
it was a good way to get people to come to It was funny, though, because a couple of people came that I went to high school with, and we just had our 20-year reunion last year, graduated in 97. So it was funny because I did some comedy at my 20-year reunion, and I said there was a guy there that I made fun of, but I do a line where I go, my sister's pretty hot. And I'll wait. I did it in a church, and they're like, oh! And I'll go, she looks just like me with long hair. And I'm like, where'd you guys think I was going with that? We're in church.
Yeah, get your mind out of the gutter.
I did it in a juvenile detention center one time, and
they're all like, yeah!
That was a captive audience for sure.
Right. So you've done a nursing home and a juvenile detention center. This is pretty.
That's churches. They're basically the same thing.
Yeah, right. I was like, they really are.
Except it's just the age difference. But anyway, so I did the joke, and this dude I went to school with whistles, and I was like, dude, you want her number? And then I go, his last name was Donahue. I go, man, if Josh Donahue had a girl or had a sister, he looks a lot like Chris Penn actually from Reservoir Dogs, Sean Penn's brother, but he was also in a Rush Hour. He was the guy with a C4, Clyde.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I go, man, if Josh Donahue had a sister that looked just like him with long hair, that chick would be hot. But I was just messing with him. And he goes, I do, and she's here. And I was like, never mind. But she married one of our other alumnus or whatever, so it was kind of funny. I never had that happen. You always, doing comedy, you always got to think on your feet.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one other story before. I did a show at this church, and it was I didn't know too much about him, Tiny, because I know you probably know a little bit because of biblical studies background, but I did a show at this Reformed theology church, and I asked Singleton about it before I went. I'm like, what's the difference between them and Southern Baptists or whatever? What do they believe? And he's like, well, they got this extra book called the Book of Prayer, and it's just a bunch of kind of like Psalms basically. Whatever, and they're very similar to Catholics, but in that they wear robes and stuff. And I didn't know much about him, but the guy was first cousins with Artie Lang.
Wow.
And he looks exactly like him too.
Huh.
The pastor did.
Okay.
So picture Artie Lang in a Catholic robe. That's what this guy looked like.
Okay.
So anyway, this dude they had this thing like a monthly open mic type event, and they call it the Rabbit Hole, which is a little weird. But anyway, they're like, yeah, you can come and do. I went there because my ex-girlfriend used to work for a pregnancy center, and she was speaking there for Right to Life week or whatever, and she wanted me to go with her so she didn't have to go by herself.
If you're single, a pregnancy center is a good place to pick up chicks.
Yeah, but they got a lot of baggage. Actually, actually, my friend and I, well, let me get back. I'll tell you in a minute. But, so anyway, this guy, I did a joke. Like, this is the only time I've ever had to stop my act and explain I wasn't going dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I do a joke where I go, like, growing up, my mom used to discipline me, and like she'd actually stop the car on the side of the highway and spank me, and then the truckers would stop and ask her if she needed help. and he thought I was being like, ooh, the trucker wants to spank the little boy, and I was like, no, like he was asking my mom if she needed help with the car. Whatever, and like
I thought you were going to say the truckers pulled over and asked her if she'd spank them.
No, but that's a good direction to go. I might have to work that in sometime. Anyway, like I had to stop and explain I wasn't going like dirty like that, and like it was just so weird. Like I've never had to do that. Never done it before, and never done it since.
Right.
So, oh yeah, so. I don't know if I should be telling you. I don't know how many chicks you have listening to your show, but my friend and I, whenever what's that?
We have millions.
What's that?
We're big with the chicks. Huge.
Yeah. So anyway, my friends and I, whenever we want to talk about a hot chick that's walking by, we'll start talking about real estate. And we'll compare her to a house. Right. You're like, yeah, man, that house has a good basement, or like. If they're too young, we'll be like, yeah, that house is still under construction. or like, if they have a kid, we'll be like, yeah, there's a swing set in the backyard. Something like that. But like, we'll like, they'll think we're talking about real estate, and we'll be talking about that.
And that one dude's like, man, you need a lot of livestock to buy that house.
That's right.
So if you guys are ever walking and you want to talk about a chick, just talk about real estate.
Oh, I've been married too long. I don't even notice.
Don't even look at the menu.
I only have eyes for one woman.
Well, if you want to talk about her, talk about a house.
Oh, the Commodores did that. You know, she's a brick house, right?
Yeah.
The Commodores came up with this like years ago. I don't want to destroy you and your friends like system, but you know, they had a whole song about brick houses way back when.
Great minds think alike.
That's right.
Well, if anybody listening to this is in Nashville or anywhere nearby Nashville, I would just like to encourage y'all to go see, what's the name of the show?
It's the Bleep Free Comedy.
The Bleep Free Comedy Show at
Zany's Comedy Club in Nashville.
Zany's Comedy Club in Nashville. And if anybody wants to pick up your new album, or maybe just check out some of the stuff you do, maybe they're interested in getting you for an event or something, where can they get in touch with you?
richjonescomedy.com.
Okay.
All right.
Or the whole shebang, or wholeshebang.com, but it's spelled WHOLE and then SH and then bang, like BANG. So there's no E in shebang.
Gotcha.
Okay. The traditional spelling. I got you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. See you. Bye.
When I was little, I used to be really scared of wolves. And for some reason, my parents got this bright idea to buy my sister a wolf mask. So that's the way my parents were. And every time I saw this mask, I would just get so scared that I would regurgitate. And so one day, my sister came to my room, and she shut my door. And she forgot my lock was broken, so I did my routine regurgitation. And she got sick too, and she couldn't get the door to open, so she ended up puking too. But she didn't have time to take off the mask. She ended up puking right through the mouth of the wolf mask. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen. So now I'm only afraid of puking wolves.
This has been a Very Odd production. Thanks for listening.